Guts. Guts is one of the most tragic characters in fiction. He was born the worst possible way, pulled out from under his dead mother's hanging body. That's not exactly a warm welcome. Then, as a kid, he's raised by mercenaries who don't exactly treat him well. His guardian, Gambino, abuses him. When Guts finally fights back and kills Gambino, he ends up being chased like a criminal. And this all happens before he even turns 15. Later, he joins the Band of the Hawk, a mercenary crew led by Griffith. For the first time, Guts finds friends and a cause. But Griffith's dream is so huge it ruins everything. When his plan blows up, he sells out his entire team to become a demon lord. Guts watches his friends get ripped apart. He loses an eye and an arm trying to save them. And to top it off, he's forced to watch Griffith, now a demon, assault Casca, the woman he loves. Talk about a family reunion gone wrong. After that, Guts gets branded with a mark that makes demons hunt him non-stop. So he builds a cannon for an arm, grabs a sword bigger than him, and decides that swinging giant swords beats therapy. He's got a small group of people who stick with him through hell. Isidro, Serpico, Farnese, Shirka, basically the not getting eaten by demons club. Guts keeps going not because he thinks he'll win, but because stopping means the darkness wins. And honestly, if that's not the ultimate stubbornness, I don't know what is. Isaac Clarke. Isaac Clarke isn't your typical hero. He's an engineer, not a soldier or some space wizard. Just a guy who knows how to fix things. Then he gets sent to the mining ship Ishimura to check on a distress signal, and suddenly it's less fix the ship and more survive the nightmare. The crew's been slaughtered and turned into necromorphs, grotesque reanimated monsters made from the bodies of the dead, driven by an alien artifact called the Marker. These things don't just want to kill, they want to rip you apart limb by limb. But it's not just the monsters. The Marker's signal messes with Isaac's mind, causing terrifying hallucinations and nightmares. He sees people who aren't there, relives his worst fears, and struggles to keep hold of his sanity while the ship falls apart around him. It's a mental war on top of a physical one. Isaac's also haunted by visions of his girlfriend Nicole, who was part of the Ishimura crew. But the truth is far worse. Nicole is actually dead. The Marker's influence twists his memories, trapping him in a cycle of grief and denial that fuels his desperate hope to find her alive. Isaac isn't a soldier. He doesn't have super strength or fancy powers. What he has is grit, determination, and the desperate hope that if he keeps moving and keeps fighting, maybe he can make it out alive. If you think your job is stressful, just imagine fixing a spaceship while it's full of monsters trying to tear you apart. Hulk. The Hulk in Thanos Wins isn't your usual rage-fueled smash machine. This is a broken, defeated monster trapped in a world where Thanos already won. After Thanos wipes out nearly all life in the universe, Hulk retreats underground. Bruce Banner is mostly gone. Hulk has taken over completely, leaving behind only a fractured shadow of the man. He's scarred, haunted, and desperate to die. When Thanos conquers Earth, he doesn't just kill its heroes, he humiliates them. He captures Hulk and forces him to eat Captain America. Not metaphorically, Hulk literally eats him. By the time we see him in Thanos Wins, Bruce Banner no longer controls the body. Hulk is all that remains. Instead of mercy, Thanos gives Hulk a collar, turning him into a snarling enforcer who lives in a pit and only comes out when summoned. Thanos often refers to him as a guard dog, and honestly, that's exactly what he is now. When your catchphrase used to be Hulk Smash, and you end up as Thanos' radioactive house pet, it's safe to say you lost the plot somewhere. Kratos. Kratos from the God of War series started out as a Spartan warrior, trained from childhood to be a ruthless killer. In a desperate bid to win a war, Kratos made a deal with Ares, the God of War himself. Ares gave him incredible power, but at a terrible cost. Under Ares' influence, Kratos was tricked into killing his own wife and daughter. That's when everything broke. From that moment, Kratos became a man driven by rage and guilt. His signature weapons, the Blades of Chaos, are chains forged in the underworld and gifted to Kratos by Ares as a symbol of his servitude, a permanent reminder of the blood on his hands. He wanted to destroy the gods themselves. Kratos tore through Olympus, battling gods and titans alike, leaving devastation in his path. But Kratos isn't just about rage. After destroying Olympus, he tries to leave his past behind, start fresh. He moves to Midgard and becomes a father to Atreus, trying to teach him to be better than him. Spoiler, fatherhood doesn't come with a manual, especially when you're a former godslayer who once destroyed an entire pantheon. And when you've literally punched gods off cliffs and survived Ragnarok, everyday problems like dad duties suddenly seem like the real boss fight. Alucard. Alucard from Hellsing is one of fiction's darkest and most complex characters, a vampire who's both an unstoppable weapon and a tortured soul. But before he became the Hellsing organization's ultimate monster, he was Vlad Tepes, the real-life inspiration for Dracula. Vlad was a ruthless prince known for his brutal rule. After his death, he was resurrected as a vampire, transformed into a creature with near-limitless power but cursed with eternal life. This transformation didn't just grant him strength, it fractured his mind. filled with the souls of everyone he's ever killed. It's like carrying a haunted crowd in your head forever. For centuries, Alucard was a terror until Abraham Van Helsing finally defeated and bound him. Since then, he's been chained to serve the Helsing organization, led by Integra Helsing, a stoic, iron-willed leader who commands Alucard with a mix of fear, respect, and something almost like trust. Their relationship is complicated. Integra is the only one who can keep Alucard in check, and he respects her for it. But underneath his loyalty is a darker desire. Alucard wants to be defeated. He craves an opponent worthy enough to finally end his eternal suffering. Alucard's existence is so fractured that it even allows him to absorb beings like Schrödinger, a creature who exists and doesn't exist simultaneously. Schrödinger was absorbed into Alucard, merging with his being. When Schrödinger was erased, Alucard briefly lost himself too, revealing just how fragile and delicate his existence really is. For 30 years, Alucard disappears completely, neither dead nor alive, just gone. When he returns, he's different. The monster that fed on death for centuries has let go of the thousands he once consumed. He's no longer a walking graveyard, just one man, finally alone in his own head. Alucard is still a vampire, still immortal, but after everything, he's finally at peace with himself. Jesse Pinkman. Jesse Pinkman is one of the most tragic figures in modern TV, a kid who wanted a way out but got sucked into a nightmare by his chemistry teacher. Starting as a small-time meth cook with little direction, Jesse teams up with Walter White, a high school chemistry teacher turned ruthless meth kingpin. What begins as a shaky partnership quickly turns into a toxic, destructive relationship that drags Jesse deeper into chaos. The turning point in their relationship came when Walt poisoned Brock, the young son of Andrea, Jesse's girlfriend. Walt did this to manipulate Jesse against Gus Fring, a ruthless drug lord who ran a massive meth operation and was Walt's main rival. After this, Jesse lost all trust in Walt. He is kidnapped by a violent white supremacist gang led by Jack Welker. They don't just keep him captive, they chain him up, beat him, and force him to cook meth in a cage like an animal. Jesse even tried to escape, but the gang killed Andrea to make sure he wouldn't try anything like that again. He endures devastating losses. He helplessly wakes up to his ex-girlfriend Jane overdose and die, an event that haunts him endlessly. He's forced into the murder of Gail, a close ally, which leaves a permanent scar on his conscience. But he does manage to get a happy ending, kind of. In the end, Walt shows up to save him from the gang. Walt kills most of the gang members during the rescue, allowing Jesse to escape and start a new life in Alaska. Itachi. Itachi Uchiha is one of the most tragic characters in anime. Born into the Uchiha clan, one of the strongest but most distrusted families in Konoha, Itachi was stuck between two worlds. On one side, his clan planning to overthrow the village. On the other, the village he swore to protect. Not exactly a fun choice. His only friend was Shisui Uchiha, his best friend and someone who actually believed they could stop the coup without violence. Shisui had a broken tear genjutsu that could rewrite your brain like it was patch notes. But before he could use it, Danzo stole one of his eyes, because of course Danzo did, and forced Shisui into a corner. So Shisui gave his last eye to Itachi and then jumped off a cliff. Literally. That was the moment Itachi realized no one else was coming to save them. If peace was going to happen, he'd have to become the villain. So he did. He massacred his entire clan in one night, sparing only his little brother Sasuke. And not just sparing him, trauma forging him into a future assassin. Itachi told him to get strong, hate him, and kill him one day. The village leadership, fearing a civil war, ordered Itachi, who was loyal to the village, to eliminate the Uchiha clan to prevent the rebellion and protect the village's stability. Itachi loved his brother Sasuke deeply. By eliminating the clan himself, sparing Sasuke, and painting himself as the villain, Itachi hoped to keep Sasuke safe and strong enough to survive and eventually learn the truth. He joined the Akatsuki, not because he liked their drip, but to keep an eye on their plans from the inside. When he was resurrected during the Fourth Great Ninja War, he used the opportunity to fix everything, telling Sasuke the truth, breaking free from the reanimation jutsu, and putting an end to the cycle of lies that ruined their lives. Because in the end, Itachi didn't want power, revenge, or recognition. He wanted peace, and he was willing to burn down his own life to give it to everyone else. Ted. Ted is one of the most tragic characters in fictional history. He's from a bleak, post-apocalyptic world created by AM, a supercomputer turned godlike torturer who wiped out all of humanity except for 5 people, Ted among them. AM kept them alive as tools for endless suffering. Ted's personality? Complex doesn't even start to cover it. He's crippled by paranoia, convinced that the other survivors hate him and that AM has twisted his mind. That fear eats at him constantly, making him vulnerable to AM's psychological torture. AM loves reminding Ted that it can do whatever it wants, stripping him of any dignity and hope. Ted's weakness is his humanity itself, the hope that maybe there's a way out, a meaning behind all this pain. AM exploits this hope by twisting reality and tormenting Ted with illusions, dragging him through endless cycles of despair. Ted kills the other survivors to spare them from eternal torture. It's the only act of agency in the whole story, and it costs him everything. In the end, AM transforms Ted into a helpless, jelly-like creature, unable to speak or move, as punishment for trying to end the cycle of suffering. As Ted puts it, "I have no mouth, and I must scream."